One of the things that, as a Christian, has challenged me for years, and that is, will God do what he says when it says in his word that he will provide for all our needs and that we will lack for nothing, and anything we ask in his name he'll give it to us? Is that something I can expect, or do I have to work really hard and search it out and just make it happen myself? And as a person that is pretty active and full of ideas, I can do that quite easily. I can often just do it in my own strength rather than relaxing and resting and sitting back and let God provide for me. Now, I don't want to get you to get the wrong idea that means that you can just do nothing and everything is going to be fine. You can just lie on a bed, because the scripture also tells us that if you're not prepared to work, then don't be prepared to eat. So I struggle with that one as well. I've got quite a few Christian friends through the Facebook platform that seem to think that it's okay to just do nothing as far as providing for yourself, looking after your family, and God will provide because God will provide. So there's a bit of a dilemma between not working completely 100% in your own efforts and actually resting in that faith knowledge that God will actually provide for you, because he does provide for us, but he provides for us in lots of different ways. And one of them is through a job. One of them is through working hard and achieving the things that you want to have in your life. And yes, checks do come in the mail. I've not actually received a check in the mail, and checks are not legal tender in New Zealand anymore, so it wouldn't really help anymore. But I've heard testimonies of mysterious money arriving in bank accounts. But I have experienced income arriving in our sphere of influence, if you like, that we didn't plan on or didn't anticipate would happen. And that, I believe, is where God is actually saying, yes, I'm going to provide. Don't worry about it. We've got this. And so we can struggle with the tension of that scripture, that you have to work. Scripture tells us to be diligent like the ant and work. And also it tells us God cares for the sparrows and they don't worry about what they're going to wear or what they're going to eat because God provides for them. And that tension is something that the ancient Hebrews were very familiar with, and they didn't struggle with it quite so much as we do this side of the world. It's a thing called block logic, and they could hold two opposing ideas seemingly conflicting in scripture in total tension with one another. And I think there's some keys in that for us as modern Christians to actually understand some of those concepts the ancient Hebrews understood in their scripture. They also had lots of systems within their lifestyle, within their culture, where people were provided for that legitimately couldn't provide for themselves, like the orphans and the widows. And Paul writes to us and tells us specific things that would include a widow into the list that the church would be provide for. And one of them was an older woman that wasn't able to provide for herself anymore. The younger women were quite able to remarry if their husbands had passed away. And that's the reason that you are a widow in the first place. So I think the whole culture that we live in this modern Christianity makes understanding and living through some of those tension scriptures quite a challenge. But at the end of the day, there is one thing that is sure and true, is that God will provide. He will provide for our needs, and the provision may come in a way that you didn't expect. So I encourage you to get out there and just seek God for yourself, your own life, your own situation, your own circumstances, and just let him show you how he is going to provide for you. Bless you heaps.